Hello students, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to discuss about the sonnet and the basic characteristics of sonnet, and in reference to Astrophil and Stella as well. So let's get into the details. So first of all, started with the characteristics of sonnet. What are the basic characteristics? All sonnets are the lyrics of 14 lines, iambic, unstressed, stressed syllables, and heartbeat pentameters. And pentameters 5 iambs to a line. The two major forms of the sonnet are Italian, that are also called as Petrarchan, and the English, which is also called as the Shakespearean. Like much more poetic literature, the sonnet has common figurative language and themes that we call conceits or conventions. Some of the most common ones are found in Resina sonnets, come from the courtly love tradition, in which love is viewed as a torture, slavery, death, war, or a hunt, in which a lady is treated as a master or a queen, a cruel fair, like a celestial object, star, moon, a sky, a doe, and a tyrant, and in which a lady is praised for her virtue and her beauty. Commonly, the poet objectifies her body by singling out specific parts to honor and worship, such as her eyes, lips, breasts, hands, and body. The lady has a power in her gaze and can destroy or inspire with a look. The poet will often make puns with his hand, with his and his lady names, like patriarch sonnet, which is mentioned below. I can show it to you, and in which the poet will often speak in apostrophe, like a poetic device where one talks to an inanimate object such as a moon or a dead person. The poet will engage in paradox, a statement that seems contradictory or absurd but may be true. This statement draws attention to something the poet thinks is important, like Spenser's sonnet about ice and fire. Her ice enflames him and his fire breezes her, something like that. It is mentioned in Spenserian sonnet. And hyperbole is used to express the poet's emotion, means exaggeration for the effect. What is the exaggerate effect? Second one is Italian sonnet. First one is Italian sonnet, and we will discuss about the Shakespearean sonnet later on. So, most Italian sonnet have two distinct sections. First eight lines, called the octave, generally flows the rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA. The second is formed by the last six lines. The septet usually has more flexibility in rhyme scheme. So the most common one are CD, 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 CDD, CDC, CDE, CED, or CD, CEDC. Very rarely does the Italian sonnet end in a couplet, like Italian English sonnet do, like EE. The second half of the Italian sonnet indicates a turn in the sonnet, a change of the subject, and expression of enlightenment, etc. We call this volta. The octave often forms a question about present or problem that a poet is seeking greater insight to. The volta is his attempt to answer. Now, this turn is what gives the sonnet form is more philosophical bent. An example of the Italian sonnet uh, is Petrarch sonnet 5 from his Rima, which has been mentioned below. Now you can look at that. This is the sonnet configuration ABBA, ABBA, CD, CC, DC. Now get into English sonnet. Unlike Italian sonnet, the English sonnet break into three quatrain and ending couplet. The rhyme scheme is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and GG. This rhyme scheme is more suited to the English language where it is harder to find enough words to rhyme is following the ABBA scheme. ABBA scheme of the Italian sonnet. Each quatrain expresses a thought, oftentimes building in intensity to the couplet. Other times the quatrains are parallel, using different metaphors to express the poet's concern. Like the Italian sonnet, English sonnet usually poses a problem or a question. The volta in English sonnet can be a line 9 as in Italian sonnet, or it can come at a couplet. An example of the Italian sonnet is a Shakespearean sonnet, which has been mentioned below, and it has the rhythm of A B A B. CD, CD, EF, EF, and GG. Now next came the Spencerian sonnet. This is the example below. Developed by the Edmund Spenser. He has developed this Spencerian sonnet, and this follows the quatrain couplet division of the English sonnet, but with the overlapping rhymes like AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, and EE. Usually, a Spenser's vota is at a couplet. An example is a sonnet 30. So, this is the example: AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, and EE. And this is the meter which is showing when the word forms a taken line from a sonnet and break up the words by stress and unstressed syllables. I hope you understand what has been mentioned in the table. So this is the detail of the sonnet and basic characteristics and what are the what types of sonnets are over there. And let's get into the Astrophil and Stella. So let's start with Astrophil and Stella, and we will discuss about the background. In Astrophil and Stella, Sir Phyllis Sidney has a renowned sonnet sequence comprised of 108 sonnets and 11 songs. Although the inspiration for the sonnet is not known for the certain, and it is believed that the sequence is largely autobiographical and inspired by his relationship with Penelope Devereux, who is represented in the sequence by Stella. The introspective, self-analytical nature of Sydney's sonnet highly contrasts from the way Sydney was valued his personal privacy over the course of his life. So it has a major themes in Astrophil. Stella followed in many senses the tradition of Petrarch and the Italian, French, and Spanish writer that imitated him. Various played various emotional conditions against each other, such as hope and despair, fondness and resentment, body cravings, spiritual longings. In this, Sydney touches on a main few themes throughout the sonnet sequence. One of the themes is that of love versus desire. Throughout the sequence, Astrophil is shown is as being madly and unreciprocated love with Stella, but this love quickly turns to desire that he cannot control and ultimately lead to the downfall of their platonic relationship. Another theme and all encompassing metaphor is the difference between the light and the days, as the difference between Stella being with Astrophil is not being with him, respectively. Even the name of the sequence and character imply this metaphor translating to star lover or a star. And the language and structure primarily has English sonnets characterized primarily. However, it is important to point out for his form throughout the story of Astrophil and Stella is constantly changing throughout the sequence. The first sonnet uses a rhyme A B A B C D C D and E E, and the second A B B A A B B A C D C D E E, and the fifth is A B A B B C B C D E D E and F F. This use of changing rhyme scheme could be a way of intensifying or quickening the plot to the climax of the story. In addition to the rhyme scheme, the structure, the individual line varies in some of the poems. While most are in form of the iambic pentameter, some poems have line with more syllable others than others. For instance, like in Sonnet 1, line are each 12 syllables long. Perhaps he is doing his the intention of trying to draw them out to portray the agony that Astrophil is trying to feel. Sidney also uses various metaphors through his sonnets, such as comparing love to a freezing fire. Like this is the sonnet selected for the analysis. You can here mentioned below. You can word it analysis in this sonnet. Sydney is narrating as Astrophil is expressing that he hopes his pity win over desire over Stella, and he is attempting to convey his love in verse. Hence this poem touches the value theme of poetry, which Shakespeare and Spenser did as well. In the first stanza, Astrophil is saying that writing poetry to get Stella's attention is asking her to read his poetry that she might understand how he feels and deeply for her. And the later two stanza and third stanza has mentioning the halting force in oxymoron and sympathetic words. He promotes some sympathetic words like self-pity and demonstrate the desperation of his towards Stella. And in fifth line there is another phrase which has been forward. So in this line, I hope the analysis you discover the basic characteristics of sonnet which he mentioned in his poems. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.